What changes when a country that has avoided offensive military capabilities for decades equips its naval fleet with long-range strike missiles? And how does that decision alter the strategic balance in East Asia? With a reported range of approximately 1,000 kilometers, newly integrated cruise missiles on a single destroyer could extend strike reach far beyond national waters, raising questions about deterrence, escalation, and alliance dynamics without yet revealing how far this transformation will go. At a structural level, this development shifts the role of Japan from a predominantly defensive maritime actor to one with credible long-range strike options. If this transition accelerates, Japan's military doctrine could evolve toward preemptive or retaliatory strike capabilities. If it slows or encounters resistance, the country may retain a hybrid posture balancing defense and limited deterrence. If it succeeds fully, it could redefine how regional security architectures function, particularly in relation to China and the Korean Peninsula. The immediate trigger for this shift is the reported completion of modifications and crew training for the destroyer JS Chokai, part of the Kongo-class fleet built between 1990 and 1998. With a displacement of approximately 9,500 tons and around 90 vertical launch system cells, these ships were originally configured for air defense and anti-submarine warfare. Their design closely parallels early variants of the Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer, reflecting decades of interoperability between Japanese and U.S. naval forces. Historically, Japan's post-World War II military posture has been shaped by its pacifist constitution, which constrained the use of force primarily to self-defense. This translated into a doctrine emphasizing missile defense, maritime security, and anti-submarine operations, particularly in response to regional threats. Offensive strike capabilities, especially those capable of targeting land-based assets, were largely absent from Japanese naval doctrine for decades. This began to change in the late 2010s as the regional security environment evolved. Rising tensions in East Asia, coupled with advances in missile technology, prompted Japanese policymakers to reconsider the limits of a purely defensive posture. Investments expanded into long-range strike systems, including air-launched cruise missiles and stealth aircraft such as the F-35 Lightning II. These systems were designed to provide Japan with the ability to respond to threats beyond its immediate territory. The integration of the Tomahawk Cruise Missile marks a significant milestone in this transition. Japan placed an order in 2024 for approximately 400 missiles, including 200 Block 4 and 200 Block V variants. Block 4 missiles incorporate data link capabilities that allow in-flight retargeting, while Block V variants include upgraded guidance and communication systems. Both variants are subsonic and lack stealth characteristics, making them potentially vulnerable to advanced air defense systems, but their range and precision significantly enhance strike capability. The operational implications are immediate. A Kongo-class destroyer equipped with Tomahawk missiles can project power across a wide geographic area, potentially reaching targets well beyond Japan's immediate vicinity. This transforms the utility of the fleet from primarily defensive interception to a platform capable of contributing to offensive operations within Allied frameworks. However, this transition is not occurring in isolation. The broader geopolitical environment includes ongoing military engagements involving the United States, particularly operations that have reportedly strained inventories of key munitions. The depletion of U.S. Tomahawk stockpiles during recent hostilities has introduced uncertainty into delivery timelines for Allied partners, including Japan. This creates a dependency dynamic where Japan's strategic planning is partially contingent on U.S. production capacity and prioritization. Key actors in this development include the Japanese Ministry of Defense, which is driving the modernization effort, and the United States, which supplies the missile systems and provides strategic alignment. Regional actors, particularly China and South Korea, also shape the strategic context. South Korea has already developed indigenous cruise missile capabilities, while China continues to expand its own missile and naval forces, influencing Japan's threat perception and policy responses. Domestic dynamics add another layer of complexity. The move toward offensive capabilities has generated debate within Japan, where constitutional constraints and public opinion remain significant factors. While some policymakers argue that enhanced strike capabilities are necessary for deterrence, others express concern about potential escalation and the erosion of Japan's post-war identity as a primarily defensive power. Consider one scenario where Japan successfully integrates and deploys its full complement of Tomahawk missiles across multiple destroyers. In this case, Japan would significantly enhance its deterrence posture, potentially altering calculations for regional adversaries. However, this could also trigger countermeasures, including increased missile deployments and defensive systems by neighboring countries, contributing to an arms competition dynamic. Now consider an alternative scenario where delays in missile delivery and domestic political resistance slow the integration process. Japan would retain its existing defensive strengths, but face limitations in projecting power. This could reinforce reliance on U.S. capabilities within the alliance framework, maintaining the current balance but limiting Japan's strategic autonomy. The broader geopolitical consequences extend to alliance structures and regional stability. Japan's shift toward offensive capability aligns with U.S. strategic objectives in the Indo-Pacific, particularly efforts to distribute military capabilities among allies. At the same time, it introduces new variables into regional security calculations, as neighboring states assess both the intent and capability behind Japan's evolving posture. This development also reflects a broader trend in modern military strategy, where distinctions between defensive and offensive systems are increasingly blurred. Long-range precision strike capabilities can serve both deterrent and operational roles, depending on how they are integrated into doctrine and policy. As this transition continues, the key factors to monitor include the pace of missile deliveries, the expansion of integration across Japan's fleet, and shifts in domestic political consensus. External responses from regional actors will also provide insight into how this capability is perceived and countered. Ultimately, the introduction of long-range cruise missiles into Japan's naval forces represents more than a technical upgrade. It signals a gradual redefinition of strategic identity, shaped by evolving threats, alliance dynamics, and internal debate. Whether this leads to a more stable balance of power or increased tension will depend on how these capabilities are deployed, communicated, and integrated into the broader regional order.